back-to-back losses. The Heat's on the West top seed. Oklahoma City to get back on track tonight in Game 4 against the Mavericks. Since the Thunder does believe it's a championship contender right now, it has to prove that tonight, says ESPN NBA analyst Austin Rivers.
We need to see them go into Dallas on the road as a young team, get a win, tie the series, and then that way the pressure goes back to Dallas as they go back home with the series tied. You got to see it. You got to see these young guys step up. It'll be a big-time game tonight.
Austin Rivers, a little more than 2 months after receiving the franchise tag from the Buccaneers, safety Antoine Winfield Jr. and the team agreed on a 4-year, $84 million contract, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. That includes $45 million in guaranteed money. The deal makes him the highest-paid defensive back in NFL history, and it is the first time in modern history in the league that a safety has set that mark.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. I'll tell you why I still have full confidence in Anthony Edwards and the Wolves against the Nuggets. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Got a lot to get to today. I was about to go into hump day. I have no idea why. I'm used. I don't know what happened. My brain was going, you got to do hump day right now. And I was like, no, that's not what this day is. That's a totally different day altogether.
Thank you, Les Miles. It's a different day entirely.
It's a different day entirely.
If you want to fast forward to Wednesday, I'll fast forward to Wednesday with you.
We got a lot to do today. The Saints have signed an offensive lineman. We got to recap Saints rookie minicamp. LSU welcomed in a defensive tackle transfer this past weekend. David Dellucci here in hour 3. We got a ton to do, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
I don't often use the phrase must win. I don't like it. I think it's overused and misused. Must win should be reserved for a literal must win, because a lot of times we say, hey, is this a must win? No. It's the third week of the season. It's not a must win. But LSU this weekend with Ole Miss coming in is facing as close to a must win as you could possibly imagine. Our friend Kendall Rogers reminded us when he was here last Thursday of this little piece of history, and it's dubious history if you're LSU. Under this current format, there has never been an SEC team finish the regular season conference schedule at 12-18 and make it to regionals. Well, after LSU lost this past weekend to Bama, look at what they have ahead. Tigers are sitting on 10 wins with 3 to go. If that magic number is 13, you have to sweep Ole Miss. That's an Ole Miss team, by the way, that's at 11 league wins, one better than you, and is coming off a series win over Texas A&M. When we looked at Ole Miss and we're like, man, I know I did last week. So I thought Texas A&M was about to put Ole Miss out of their misery. Ole Miss gave up a 9th-inning walk-off against Auburn, blew a lead last Sunday. They play a midweek game against Murray State, goes 14 innings and they lose. And then they're staring down that Texas A&M juggernaut. I thought A&M was going to put Ole Miss out of their misery. Instead, boom, Ole Miss won the first 2 of that series, took that series. Now they come to Baton Rouge with 11 wins, and they're looking at their postseason berth 2 wins away. Probably. Better RPI than LSU, one league game better. All the conversations you and I are having about LSU and regionals, Ole Miss, they're having the same exact conversation going into this weekend. So it is as close to a must-win as you could possibly imagine for LSU this weekend, needing a sweep against Ole Miss because of how it played out with LSU against Alabama in Tuscaloosa this past weekend. Usually in baseball, because you play such a large sample of games, like, you are what your record says you are. As a pitcher, you are what your ERA says you are. As a hitter, you are what your batting average says you are, because you have a large enough sample size. So LSU, they are what they are. But also typically over the course of a season, what'll happen is the breaks tend to even out. This happened a year ago. A year ago, LSU against Texas A&M, in that game 3, LSU had that game in total control. They give up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th. A&M gets the 3 outs in the 9th, and LSU loses by a run. It was a game they completely had. The sweep they had in their back pocket, and they gagged it away in the bottom of the 8th. They stole a game from Ole Miss. Same scenario. Travinski hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th, and LSU ends up stealing a game that probably had no business winning. It happens. This year, LSU has had 2 games, where they completely gagged away a win. I mean, they stole defeat from the jaws of victory. Game 2 against Florida and we all remember the strikeout in the 8th inning, ball gets past Milazzo, run scores. Before you know it, they add another run in the 9th, you go to extras and you lose. I mean, you had that series won, and your own undoing gave them game 2. And then Friday night. Friday night. LSU having won 3 consecutive weekends, and there you are against Bama. You're up 7-3. You put Griffin Herring out there thinking he's going to take you home. And my goodness, to be sitting there in the 9th inning on Friday night with 2 outs and nobody on, and Griffin Herring on the mound, with LSU having a 1-run lead. I don't know if ESPN does their win probability graph for baseball like they do the other sports, but you know how sometimes you'll see that win probability graph, it's like at 99%, then it goes boom, like to 0 because you lose on a Hail Mary or something flukish. That whatever that equivalent is in football or other sports, that's what happened on Friday night. Your best pitcher on the mound, you're up a run, 2 outs, 9th inning, and he goes walk, hit by pitch, error, you lose the game. And I know, listen, there's a lot of blame to go around. There's a lot of blame to go around in that circumstance. I mean, earlier in the game, Tommy White didn't touch third base on a run, what would have been an RBI double by Jared Jones. So not only did that run come off the board, but you would have had Pearson at the plate with Jones at second base, and you're another base hit away from extending that lead even further. I mean, we can keep going. Obviously, you had Herring go walk, hit by pitch. But then, with the bases loaded, Herring absolutely makes the pitch he needs to make, and he induces a dribbler right in front of home plate. And Milazzo initially does everything right. He immediately takes his mask off, throws up his hand, says, I got it. And he never set his feet, and he threw the ball down the right field line and 2-run score. I could also point to Jared Jones and say, hey, bro, get your foot off the bag and catch the ball to make sure the winning run doesn't score. But ultimately, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Herring loaded the bases, but he made the pitch. Milazzo made an errant throw. Should have set his feet and made the throw. Jones couldn't catch it. Probably should have come off the bag further and caught it. The bottom line is that's one that in an almost unthinkable sequence of events had to unfold for you to lose. And it went that way. And unfortunately for LSU, they haven't been the reciprocator of the opposite of that. I even tweeted around the 7th inning last night during that game that LSU has choked away 2 games when it was in complete control, the Florida game and the Bama game, what we just talked about. I said it's about time they started to even that out and steal a game where they've been controlled. And LSU was dominated in game 3 for 6 2/3. And they broke through against Alabama's bullpen, and they loaded the bases in the 8th inning, and you had a chance with a runner on third and 1 out, the tying run on third and 1 out, and Ashton Larson at the plate. All you got to do is put the ball in the air to the outfield, put the ball on the ground to the right side, and you were tied. And he struck out. Then Milam hit a little flare to short. Threat was over. And even after getting a runner on base in the 9th, you couldn't get him home. You had opportunities. The breaks didn't go your way, and you gagged away another one. And you might have gagged away your opportunity at postseason play. So, look, as it stands, LSU still hasn't clinched a spot in the SEC tournament. They're 1 win away. If LSU wins 1 game this weekend, they'll clinch a spot in the SEC tournament, and Auburn and Missouri would be the 2 teams out. But that's not what people here envision. It's not find a way to get into the SEC tournament. It's host regionals and be a national seed and go to Omaha and win championships. But at this point, your lot is what it is. And what your lot is you're sitting there at 10 wins. You got 3 games to go, and you got to win all 3 of them. And if you don't, you're going to have to do something that's literally never been done before. And that's try to find a way into regionals with 12 or fewer regular season SEC wins. I mean, as long as you're playing games, you got a shot. But it's some dubious history staring LSU in the face if they can't get it done. Super disappointing to go to Tuscaloosa and let that opportunity get away on Friday night. All right, it's After Further Review. Show opens brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Hey, the dive bar tour last week we told you about was in Prairieville. This week, the dive bar tour is in Houma. So it's coming up on Thursday, the 16th. 5 o'clock somewhere, Tiger Lounge, and the Boxer in the Barrel. Those are the 3 bars. So it'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you're following Mockler on social media, and you'll see all the info for the dive bar tour in Houma this Thursday. Of course, Mockler Beverage on any social media. Also, had a great call with our friends over at Mockler earlier today. I think this is going to happen, that we are going to end up with a really cool listener VIP giveaway and watch party for UFC 302 with Dustin Poirier as the headline. Of course, Dustin Poirier is now a Bud Light endorser. He just did a national deal with Bud Light. Bud Light's the official beer of the UFC as well. So we're going to have a great opportunity to get you involved, to come watch fights with us, booze, food, all that stuff. So we'll tell you more when we have all the deets finalized. Should be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, the Saints did have rookie minicamp, which we'll get to. Jeff Nowak's going to be here in an hour. He was out at rookie minicamp, firsthand, eyes on the team. We'll get to a firsthand point of view an hour from right now. But when we come back, Saints did add a veteran offensive lineman today. I want to talk about that and what it means for this team. We'll get to it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. If you're buying a home, think Darren James. If you're trying to sell your home, think Darren James. Listen, I tell you this every day, but I tell you it every day because it's so important. It's why I got to punch it every single day. Every year, the Wall Street Journal comes out with their list of the top 1,000 realtors in America, top 1% of realtors in the country. Last year, Darren James was number 54 on that list. Not in Louisiana, in the entire country. So if you're thinking about selling your home, why would you call anyone other than Darren James? 335-7666, 305-7666, or agent225.com. Make sure you're following Darren on social media as well. Just saw this one, a price reduction on a beautiful home on a Sanctuary Boulevard in Denham Springs, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 2,000 square feet. Check it out right now at agent225.com. Agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
It is not often that I'm going to sit here and try to hype or sell you on a journeyman veteran free agent offensive lineman signing. But I'm actually really kind of jacked about this. And I wasn't when I first saw it. But the more I hear and read and see, the more excited I get about this. You've probably heard by now that the Saints have signed veteran offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. He's gone a little bit of a journeyman's way. He was a UDFA with the Green Bay Packers back in 2016. He's 30 years old now. Played 5 seasons in Green Bay. Played all over the place. Center, guard, started 34 games with the Packers, including 28 in his final 2 seasons there. Goes as a free agent to the Bears, where he followed Luke Getsy from the Packers to the Bears. Started 15 games at center because of injuries this past year. And now as a free agent, obviously, got a new quarterback coming in there. But now at 30 years old, free agent, Lucas Patrick has signed a free agent deal with the New Orleans Saints. This is why I'm fired up about it. Listen to what Matt LaFleur had. This is when he was back, when Lucas Patrick was back with Green Bay. And remember, I told you he played in 34 games, started 34 times in Green Bay at center and both guard spots. This is what Matt LaFleur, as head coach in Green Bay, had to say.
Lucas he's kind of the glue guy, man. He holds that whole group together. He brings that grit, that toughness, the way he competes, the way he cares about his teammates. And he's been doing it for our whole time here, really, together, especially the last 2 years. So I think Lucas is playing at a really high level. You know, we're fortunate that we have a lot of great people in that room.
I freaking love that. Are you kidding me? That's a team that also had All-Pro David Bakhtiari at left tackle. And here's the head coach saying this guy, who the Saints just signed, is the glue that holds that room together. You want to get more fired up? This is an NFL Films video. Pre-game, Lucas Patrick with the offensive line around him. Mind you, this with the Bears this past year when he started 15 games but started due to injury. So he was an injury replacement. Give a listen.
Every single one of you empty that tank today. You know what they say, hungry dogs run faster? I'm hungry for a win. Run as fast as possible, as physical as possible. All game! All game! Let's go! All line on three, ready, 1, 2, 3.
I mean, are we serious here? I mean, we're friggin' like, play this too. Or is that, no, sorry, that was that reset. My bad. The video started over. Sorry about that. No, that's not actually. It doesn't matter. I screwed it up. But the point is, are you fired up just seeing that in 20 seconds of in a pregame huddle? I mean, listen, every team needs a Lucas Patrick on the offensive line. I'm not telling you that guy is going to be a Pro Bowler for the Saints. I'm not telling you he's going to make the team, okay? Long way to go. But the one thing that the Saints, since Sean Payton got here and has carried over that they have shown they value is culture. Give me locker room guys, right? Give me guys that fit the culture. When they had the back-to-back-to-back 7-9 seasons in 14, 15, 16, what they did was they purged talented players who were bad culture fits. Why is Michael Thomas no longer a New Orleans Saint? Yes, it cost you a ton of money to clip Michael Thomas. But what was Michael Thomas's problem? He's running on Twitter, picking fights with reporters, and literally fought a teammate at practice and, like, ghosted the franchise. The Saints want culture guys. This is a culture guy, very clearly. When his head coach said he's the glue of our room, you hear him sitting there leading huddles on the offensive line. Yes, you need that, but not only that, he is a versatile and capable starter. This is essentially what James Hurst was for the New Orleans Saints. In his career, James Hurst played 42 games at left tackle, 36 at left guard, 8 at right guard, 3 at right tackle, and 6 as the jumbo tight end. It didn't matter where you put James Hurst on the line, he was going to be reliable and capable. He was a versatile starter, was never the best offensive lineman. But wherever you put him, you could rely on him. Listen to Lucas Patrick in his own words, talking about where he fits best on the offensive line.
Not even trying to give a meaty answer. I just want to do what's best for the team. Whatever it takes for us to win, whether that's what I've been doing at one position or moving to another or whatever it is, I just want to win football games. And wherever that is, whether it's, playing defensive back. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be confident in any position they put me at.
That's a dude that's going to be ready. And what do we know about this Saints team right now on the offensive line? The one thing we know is uncertainty. I know Eric McCoy is going to be your center and Cesar Ruiz is going to be your right guard. That's it. I don't know if Ryan Ramchik's ever going to play again. I don't know if Trevor Penning is ready to be a starter. I don't know if Taliese Fuanga can start as a rookie. If he does, what side of the line? I don't know if Nick Saldiveri is ready. I don't know if the veteran free agents you already signed with Oli Udoh, Shane Lemieux, Justin Herron, I don't know if any of them are ready to play. So with all that uncertainty, what do you need? Versatility. Because some of those are going to answer to the affirmative. Maybe Trevor Penning is ready to be a starter at tackle. Maybe Fuanga can be your starting left or right tackle. So that leads left guard. Well, I got great news. Here's a guy in Lucas Patrick that's been a starter at left guard in the NFL. And it doesn't matter where you put him, he's going to be a good leader for you at that position. Now, look, he's got to go make the team still, all right? And the one thing that's undeniable about what the Saints have done right now is they looked at what was their weakest position, and they have gone and bolstered it. They went and signed Oli Udoh from Minnesota, who's played in 43 games with 18 starts at both guard and tackle. They signed Shane Lemieux, 18 games played with 12 starts at center and guard. He's an interior guy. Justin Herron, 35 games played, 11 starts at tackle. You draft Fuanga. You draft Ezerim. Yes, you went and bolstered your biggest weakness to add to Ramchick, Penning, Young, McCoy, Ruiz, Saldiveri, the gang that was already there. You had to go add capable starters because you weren't going to be able to afford superstars in free agency. So you brought in capable starters, and you hope you drafted your franchise in Taliesin Fuanga. You hope you did. We hope the same with Trevor Penning, and it hasn't panned out. Maybe it will. John Stinchcomb was here last week. If you missed that conversation, great perspective. A guy that was a high second-round pick didn't become a starter with the Saints until year 3. So, yeah, there's hope for Trevor Penning, but it's still an unknown. So what do? You get someone who is a sure thing. Wherever you plug Lucas Patrick in on the offensive line, you're confident he's going to be a steady, consistent force. Look, last year at center, 953 snaps at center. Allowed 2 quarterback hits and no sacks. Okay. The one giant question I have, and I do not know the answer to this because I am not as well versed enough in Chicago Bears football to know, is why did they let him go? I don't know. Maybe it's a 30-year-old offensive lineman. They'd look to go get younger. Good on you if you did. The Saints don't have the luxury of passing on a guy like that. He would be an asset on this team. Another interesting to watch here as the Saints get closer to OTAs and the rest of the offseason program. Added veteran Lucas Patrick here on Monday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. 924-2020. Or go to WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Hey, remember, eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. You want to have your annual eye exam, you can do it at the Williamson Eye Center. Any of their 6 locations across Greater Baton Rouge, newest locations down the river parishes as well. If you wear contacts or glasses, we can sell you your contacts or glasses. But the thing that's most important to remember is always, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, there's nobody better than Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. I tell you every day to just schedule that consultation. Maybe it's LASIK. Maybe you had LASIK years ago and now you're having issues again. You could be a candidate for PRK. That's what Jake Pester had. Had LASIK when he was playing. Now, just a couple years ago with Dr. Blake, had PRK. Maybe you're battling an astigmatism, or maybe you're far-sighted and you need the readers. You want to ditch those forever. Maybe the custom lens replacement is what you need. No matter what it is, your age or refractive issue, there is a refractive procedure at the Williamson Eye Center. Just set up that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Man, we got a ton to do today. Just a little appetizer there talking about the Saints, adding Lucas Patrick. But we will talk to Jeff Nowak in 45 minutes. He'll be here. Was out at Saints rookie minicamp. Want to get a firsthand account of what he saw, especially from Fuanga. It was interesting, the reports out of camp, Fuanga working at left tackle, which is something that, you know, his offensive line coach, Jim Mahalchek, told us here on this show the only reason that he didn't play left tackle at Oregon State was because there was a veteran incumbent who was entrenched there. And so Fuanga played on the right side, but certainly is capable. And they even told him they repped him in spring and at practice at left as well. And if anything had ever happened to their left tackle, he would have kicked over and played left. So because of his coach's confidence in his ability to play left, I don't think it would be any more of a transition for him. So we'll continue to obviously watch that as they move throughout the offseason program. But good to see him get some reps out there at left tackle. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. A couple of NFL headlines as well. They have confirmed a schedule release date. And one NFL team might be starting a trend that the other 32, or the other 31, will soon follow. I'll explain what I mean next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. If you're making groceries, make sure you get by Rouse's. They always have the weekly ad at the website. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Or, of course, you can always go to their Facebook page or any of their social media. You can download the app. Just nowhere better to go. If you want dry-aged ribeyes, dry-aged beef, if you want a beautiful fresh catch of fish from their seafood market, Rouse's has that for you as well. If it's the bakery, maybe you got in trouble on Mother's Day because you didn't get flowers. They got a great florist over there as well. You can pick up flowers at Rouse's. No matter what, you can get Evermore. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints with 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. And they have an awesome bonus 5-day sale going on right now. It's their bonus meat sale. Learn more right now at Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy, just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions.
Those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Live After 5 is back this spring. Clock out and rock out with us Fridays from April 12th to through May 24th in downtown Baton Rouge for the free concert series, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another season filled with incredible music, delicious food, talented artists, and a lively second line parade. This Friday, come out to see the Bucktown All-Stars for Live After 5.
Little breaking news here. Former LSU tight end Thad Moss is retiring from football. Tweeted just a bit ago, it is always important to know when something has reached its end. Closing circles, shutting doors, finishing chapters. It doesn't matter what we call it. What matters is to leave in the past those moments in life that are over. Thank you, #retired. So Thad Moss with some photos that he included there as well. One with the Bengals, one after winning the national championship at LSU, one with Lil Moss on the jersey when he was young. That looks like his dad's 84 with the Vikings. But no matter whatever happens with a lot of these guys with their professional careers, and it's a reminder of how few actually make it in professional sports, because Thad Moss was when he had the single greatest season. Receiving season for a tight end in LSU history in 2019. We'll always remember the toe tap catch in Tuscaloosa in 2019, his performance in the national championship game, catching the touchdown right before half. He was awesome and in that season and was a massive, massive part of that championship. It was so interesting because when he transferred in from NC State, if you remember, I don't know that there were great expectations. It was cool that it was Randy Moss's son, And when he came to LSU that first year and redshirted, there weren't great expectations in 2018. Then in 2019, in that Burrow year, he just exploded. He was sort of with so much flair and big play potential everywhere, with obviously Jamar and Justin doing what they did. Clyde was all SEC and was incredible that year, became a first-round pick. Of course, we know about Burrow. I don't mean to leave out Terrace Marshall either. I mean, there was a chunk of that season where Terrace Marshall led LSU in touchdown receptions, but they were so awesome. And Thad Moss was just like this luxury Swiss Army knife, because it was like, oh, you're going to go focus all of your attention on Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Well, Terrace Marshall's going to beat you. Well, Clyde's going to beat you out the backfield. Then who's going to cover Thad Moss, who was just awesome that year? So the fact that his pro career didn't go like I'm sure he hoped or many of us thought it might is irrelevant to me. He's one of those quintessential examples of a guy who, no matter what happened in the pros, will always be revered here by people who cheer for the purple and gold because of that season he had, what an important part he was in that 2019 championship run. So Thad Moss retiring. Congrats to Thad Moss on the career. Now come on back to Baton Rouge anytime, man. Make a home here. I mean, sell stuff. You want to sell roofs? Come hang out. We'll hire you at Parish Construction Roofing. Let's come sell roofs with us, bro. In any event. All right, it's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Michigan State transfer offensive lineman Gino Vandemark has committed to Alabama. 6'5", 320. Spent 3 seasons with the Spartans. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. Made 10 appearances and 2 starts a couple of years ago during his redshirt freshman year. Played in 8 games this past year. He was the number 473 overall prospect in the country coming out of high school as a 3-star prospect. But Bama gets a veteran O-line transfer.
Texas A&M!
Iowa transfer wide receiver Jake Bostic commits to Texas A&M. Well, this will certainly put to the test the theory of whether or not Iowa's offensive struggles were scheme or were they players. You do realize that Texas A&M is taking a transfer transfer wide receiver from Iowa. He appeared in 5 games last year, Muse, for Iowa. You know how many catches he had?
Let's go with 5.
No.
Darn. Not even 5?
No. Did they have 5 receptions all year?
Probably not. Was it 0?
Give yourself a ding. A&M just took a transfer wide receiver that didn't have a single catch a year ago. Let us put to the test the theory. Is it scheme or is it personnel?
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Notre Dame transfer defensive back Micah Bell has committed to Vanderbilt. Initially committed as an athlete. His brother Dylan is a wide receiver at Georgia, by the way. Played high school in Texas. He was a 4-star prospect, number 264 overall in the country, leaving South Bend, headed to Nashville. I'll tell you this much. Much better scenery in Nashville than in South Bend, that's for darn sure. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Y'all, literally, I'm sitting in studio. I just saw an EAS alert for thunderstorms, bad weather here in the greater Baton Rouge area. We all know it's part of living here in the spring and the summer months. We're headed towards storm season. Storm comes, knocks the power out. If you have a Generac automatic home standby generator, boom. As soon as your power goes out, generator powers on, powers your entire home, everything. Your HVAC system, all of your appliances, everything. It's like nothing ever happened. Pool pump, everything. So who do you hire? Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Optimize is Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. There is no Generac dealer in our state that sells more Generac automatic home standby generators than Optimize. They have to be doing something right. Yeah? Well, it's their guaranteed, their price quote guarantee. It's their 7-year warranty. It's the 4 physical locations that serve the entire 1012 corridor. The newest right there on Loyola. When you get off I-10 in or I guess in Kenner, right at Loyola, it's boom, right there off the interstate. So no matter where you are, from Lake Charles to Slidell, anywhere in between on the 1012 corridor, optimize will come to you. GeneratorPeople.com. Start there. GeneratorPeople.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. The NFL has confirmed the 2024 schedule release is going to come up on Wednesday, so we're 2 days away from the schedule release. It'll be 7 o'clock Central. They make it a big TV show, and I'm glad that they do. Something else to talk about, something else to watch. We looked at the Saints schedule last week when we knew that the schedule release was coming, and the Saints and the Falcons are tied when you look at opponent winning percentage from last year. The Saints and the Falcons had the easiest schedules by opponents winning percentage from last year in the NFL. So we're going to find out some things as far as order, where, like, we'll always look first at where's your open date, where's your bye. Do you have to travel late in the season to outdoor cold weather stadiums? So we'll see some of that stuff. But we'll get the schedule released fully. What we do know is that the league starts to leak games here earlier in the week. So we do know the Chiefs will host the Ravens to kick off the NFL season on Thursday, September the 5th. So that they've announced 2 of these games so far. So, of course, the defending champ will obviously always open up the season. So defending champ Chiefs will open up against the Ravens on Thursday, September the 5th. That'll be an NBC game, as we know. It's customary with the NFL kickoff. And then a day later, on Friday, September the 6th, the Eagles will take on the Packers in Brazil. So that's going to be an interesting one as well to see the NFL play in Brazil for the first time. So Eagles, Packers in Brazil on Friday, but the season kicks off with the Chiefs, Ravens on Thursday, September the 5th. Full schedule release Wednesday at 8 o'clock on the NFL Network and on ESPN. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. Wrap up hour number 1. Jaden Daniels and Malik Nabers came to their senses. We'll explain. And an NFL team starting a trend that the other 31 may follow. We'll explain next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or call the 8s, 888-8888, 888-8888. They always have amazing social media presence where they're doing great stuff with so many of the G-Team members as well. They got a good video up right now with Aaliyah Finnegan and Kyla Hebert, a couple of G-Team members who've both been in studio with us here. They were at the Girls on the Run 5K. One of the things you consistently see from Gordon, not only with the G-Team, but it is Gordon Gives. It's the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon says it all the time. He's been so blessed, wants to give back to the community that's given him and his family so much. So you always see Gordon involved in charity events and things like this. So not only the G-Team, but also things like the Girls on the Run 5K. So we salute Gordon for another job well done. You've been injured, you know what to do. Go to getgordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
LSU hosted a defensive tackle transfer prospect, or target, I should say, this weekend. We'll talk about that coming up after SportsCenter here in about 15 minutes from right now. Two of the high-profile rookies, two top 6 picks from LSU, Jaden Daniels and Malik Nabers, have had to backtrack on their $10,000 wager. This should come as no surprise whatsoever. We talked about it last week as we learned that Jaden and Malik had a $10,000 bet on who would win Rookie of the Year. My summation was that they would plead ignorance, say they're going to rookie minicamp where they'll learn about the league's betting policy, and then it'll be no harm, no foul. Here was Jaden Daniels meeting with the media after practice one day this weekend at rookie minicamp.
Yeah, we were uneducated on the gambling policy in the NFL. We learned about it last night. Me and him have a conversation, and we canceled the bet. Obviously, we don't want to get in trouble with anything, so we're just focused on being the best players for our respective teams.
Can we actually give a little bit of a salute to the NFL here? Like, it would have been easy for the NFL because these guys are NFL players and they violated a policy that's written in black and white. But it's very clear, but by the way, Malik's answer was, I'm educated now that I got here about sports betting and gambling. We're calling the bet off. There's no bet now. It was just another brother pushing another brother to try to get to success. That's all it was. Which, again, it was harmless. We all know it was harmless. There was nothing intended. There was nothing nefarious. It was a friendly bet between two former college teammates. Like, no one has any problem with it whatsoever. But by the letter of the law, they violated the rule. But good for the NFL for not sticking it to these young guys and saying, look, all right, hey, here's what we're going to do. Like, hey, Jaden, Malik, come here. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to go say you didn't know the policy. We have the betting symposium at rookie minicamp where we tell you all about it. And then you're going to say you didn't know and the bet's off. All right, ready, break. And then they both go, like, with almost verbatim the same prepared statement. Jaden said we were uneducated on gambling policy in the NFL. Malik said, I'm educated now that I got here about sports betting and gambling. I mean, it's like ask ChatGPT another way to say the same thing, and that's what they both did. But good on the NFL for not screwing it up. Like, let these guys learn their lesson without punishing them or their franchises or the fans or your league, because these are two amazingly dynamic young people that are going to be stars in this league for a long time. And, oh, by the way, also in two of your premier franchises in the NFC East with the New York Giants and the Washington, Commanders now. But yes, let them go be awesome. How do we feel about Malik Nabers in number 9? How do we feel about that?
It's a little weird. I'm not going to lie. But
I'm glad he went with single digit.
Yes. Yeah, because I think receivers always look better in single digits than the double.
You remember when Tom Brady, when the league allowed these guys to go to single digits, they didn't just have to wear numbers in the 80s or whatever. Allowed them to go, and Tom Brady was like, "That's unfair. It'll be so confusing." Like,
why? Yeah.
I mean, at every level of football for history, like, you can wear what I mean. Every level of Tom Brady's career of football, you could have receivers with single digits, and it seemed just fine for him to make his way all the way up to the University of Michigan and won an Orange Bowl there against Alabama in 99 and all, or 2000, all that stuff, right? I mean, it seemed like
it would work out fine for him.
Worked out fine most
Yeah.
of it. And it seemed like the league is still functioning fairly well with single-digit numbers.
Yeah,
on receivers.
I love that they allow 0 now too in the NFL. I mean, I think that's great as well.
I'm a little indifferent on 0.
Really? I like 0.
But I'll tell you what I do like. I like when you have the opportunity. I don't know why I feel this way, but I don't want to say the word legacy because that maybe has the wrong connotation. But when you have the opportunity to do something that's never been done before, you could be the first to do something. Like Mason Smith will forever be the first ever player to wear 0 at LSU. That's kind of a cool footnote, right? So if you get to be the first ever to do something, I think that part of it is cool because in some respects then you have secured immortality. Like you will always be the answer to a trivia question, I guess. So that's the part of it that I kind of like with people wearing 0. That's all.
And honestly, for Malik, it really might only be like a 1-year thing because if Daniel Jones doesn't succeed, he's gone and 8 will be available.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Do you think he would switch? I wonder if he'd switch.
I do.
I don't
I
know
think
what
he
number
would.
he wore in high school. Do you know?
I don't. I think his Twitter handle has 8 in it, though. So that would lend me to think it was 8.
I don't want to guess. I don't know what he wore in high school. But nonetheless, good luck to both those guys. Glad that's all cleared. Hey, Friday. By the way, something else happened Friday, which was
Season 2 of The Bachelor around the bend.
I want to give you an update on that here in a second because we do have movement on Season 2 of
The Bachelor.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
We'll give you an update here. But Friday, Terrio and I announced the name of our new company, which is Parish Construction and Roofing. You heard me talk. You've heard us for 3.5 years now tell you do business with someone you know. And a lot of different reasons, nothing bad or anything. Our former partnership, we decided to split, go a different way, and start a new company. And it's going to allow us to do so many more things, which we'll tell you about in the coming days and weeks. But ultimately, as I keep telling you to do business with someone you know, it's the same people. It's Terrio, it's me, it's Richard Tilley, it's Joe Morales, it's Zach and Ty and Trent and Scott. And when you call, you're still going to get Christina at the office. It's our same people. We just started a new company. And it's Parish Construction and Roofing. Look, there was awful hail part southwest of here in Baton Rouge on Sunday. If you had hail, you might have hail damage that you can't spot from the ground. We can always give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Literally, as I'm sitting here speaking, the storms are rolling in, thunderstorms right now in the greater Baton Rouge area. Never fails. Every time it rains, our phones ring. Because as I always tell you, there's only 2 ways to know if you get roof damage. 1, let us come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Or 2, wait till it rains and you get water in your house. Well, by the way, the phone number you call is the phone number I've given you out for the last 4 years, 364-1007, 225-364-1007. Same number, still rings to the same office. If you don't get someone at the office, it'll ring to a cell phone. You might get Terrio, 364-1007. Again, same number, just a new name, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. That's the website. Go to parishbuilt.com. Parish Construction and Roofing. And yes, for those who are inquiring, we will have a hat party very soon. And I think the hats are actually kind of fire. Okay, Muse. I need some deets. So Friday, do we have our music?
Yeah, I didn't know we were doing this right now, though.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the deets. So, as we all know,
last season on The Bachelor, Muse and a young lady went to the Aqua concert and had a lovely time. However, it was not meant to be. But that's hardly the end of the story. Could a blossoming love and romance be about to bloom? Find out on Season 2 of The Bachelor.
Okay, Muse, give us the deets.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anything like major. It's not groundbreaking stuff. But, I mean, you obviously sent this email out on Friday during the show to another
young lady.
Young lady, yes, who was involved in that promotion. And she was your choice for it. I should throw that out there. And you kind of connected us a little bit over this weekend. So we've been talking. We're trying to work something out here.
How great was her response to the email?
It was really good.
The response?
It was awesome, actually.
The email I sent her was just like, hey, this is weird. I'm just going to get to the point.
Yeah.
Like, the Bachelor thing, it didn't work out. I think you'd be great with Muse. No radio promotion. Just, if you're still single and interested, opportunity to go on a date with a great dude and have a good time. Are you down? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And then I guess someone told her what we talked about on the show. She said, I'd rather go to supper club than go frogging.
Yeah, which I was just like, yeah, me too.
So good. She was also a collegiate golfer, so I think the first date should be a golf outing, Muse.
Find out Season 2 of The Bachelor.
AFR. Hey, Muse, if you all go golfing, I will personally provide plenty of Evermore so you stay hydrated. How about that, Muse? I will buy however much Evermore that you and the young lady would like that you need to make sure you stay hydrated. No drinking that other stuff on the golf course, Muse. That's going to get you dehydrated. And when you do that, that's when you need plenty of Evermore. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
I got you, yeah.
Look, I love Bud Light as much as anybody, but you drink 15 of them on the golf course, Muse, you start seeing 3 balls, you got to hit the one in the middle, and I don't need you to pass out. I need you to be hydrated. I need you to drink Evermore. Evermore is awesome, y'all. It's natural artesian water. I yesterday morning literally went to the grocery store and bought another 12-pack. You get the 12-pack of 20. You can get the 32-ounce bottles. You get the 64-ounce bottles as well, 4-pack of 64. Knock a few of those back throughout the course of a day. Everyone knows about the importance of being alkaline. This is a rare alkaline source. It's Evermore. Drink Evermore. Evermore.com.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Lions are signing quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension. Includes $170 million guaranteed. The former number 1 overall pick becomes the highest paid Lion in franchise history. The Buccaneers and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. agreed on a 4-year, $85 million deal, reports Schefter. $45 million guaranteed. He becomes the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Bronny James, who suffered cardiac arrest last year and had a procedure to repair a congenital heart defect 9 months ago, medically cleared to play in the NBA by the league's Fitness to Play panel. The eldest son of LeBron James can take part in this week's pre-draft combine. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
I think if the Lakers have an opportunity to draft Bronny James, they will do so. I think they will try. I do not think it's going to be their top priority. And I don't think the league right now is looking at this as draft Bronny James and you can get LeBron.
Our Brian Windhorst on Get Up. LeBron has a June 29th deadline to decide whether he'll opt in or opt out of the final year of his contract with the Lakers.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, I'll tell you why I still have full confidence in Anthony Edwards and the Wolves against the Nuggets. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
It's all right, Muse. When you're in love, your head's in the clouds, things just get away from you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing got away from me over here.
It's all right, Muse. You just do that 3 times a day, every day.
I just did it.
I mean,
off without a hitch.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Window. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Jeff Nowak in 15 minutes. Saints had rookie minicamp this past weekend. Jeff will be along, tell us what he saw. And David Dellucci 1 hour from right now. Brutal series loss for LSU. They are very much on the brink, as we've mentioned a couple times here. There has never been a team under this format to go 12-18 in conference play in the SEC, 12-18 in the SEC, and earn a regional berth. So that's what LSU's facing. They would have to sweep Ole Miss this weekend to get past that 12-win barrier. So we'll talk about it with Luch coming up 1 hour from right now. Over the weekend, we at the end of last week, we learned that LSU was in the mix for another transfer defensive lineman. JVR Suggs is his name. He's out of Grand Valley State, which, of course, I think most people here would notably remember that Grand Valley State is where Brian Kelly started his head coaching career up in Michigan. Well, after LSU notably missed on a couple of high-profile transfer prospects, in Dominic Williams and why am I blanking? The kid from Michigan State. I totally just blanked on his name.
Simeon Barrow.
Simeon Barrow. Thank you. You know what it is? I've tried to intentionally block that out of my brain at this point.
For good reason.
That conversation, no doubt. Well, JVR Suggs is a guy who jumped in the portal, and LSU got in late on him, got a visit this past weekend from Suggs, and he's apparently set to make an announcement. LSU's one of his final 4 teams. And, I always kind of look, this guy's about just over 6'2" and just over 300 pounds. I always look at who else offered. And he's got offers from Michigan, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. So you have some pretty, you have 4 Power 5 programs there. Some big-time offers. And so we'll see what Suggs eventually elects to do. My understanding is that there's a little, there's not a unanimous feeling on the LSU coaching staff about Suggs, like whether or not they should take him. And listen, it's a bit of a reach when you're talking about a guy that's coming from the Division II level. We saw it work out great with Jared Verse at Florida State. Obviously, became an All-American and a first-round draft pick. But it doesn't seem like there's this consensus or this unanimous feeling from the folks that I've talked to anyway about whether or not they feel they're confident Suggs could make that transition from Grand Valley into the SEC here in this year. But, I got a question last week because I've reiterated this talking point several times now, that I don't know that LSU should take a transfer just to take a body on the defensive line. And someone asked me last week on the show text line, why not bring someone in to compete? And I suppose in that respect, it makes sense. You're at 82 or 83 scholarship players, so you've got 2 or 3 available scholarships. And so you have the room to bring somebody else onto the roster. But I would also say that there's always the possibility that graduates could enter the portal. You could find another prospect that comes in. We talked last week about a transfer that had been at Michigan State, had entered the portal as well. I look at it, though, and I just can't help but wonder, are you better off coaching up the guys you have? Like, is JVR Suggs, and I'm not picking on JVR Suggs because until 5 days ago, I'd never heard that name in my life. I'm not sitting here pretending to know anything about it whatsoever. But what I do believe is that you've got, you don't have a consensus on the coaching staff as to whether or not to take this commitment or bring this player here. And if you're not convicted about the player, then why do you take the player? That would be my one argument to the contrary. And I'm going to continue to reiterate this point, which you've heard me say before, but I'm going to be consistent with it. And I'm not going to budge off this unless if there's someone that is an undeniably better prospect, a proven prospect that's plug and play. And that is the fact that you don't need bodies. A year ago, you needed bodies on the defensive line. You didn't have enough humans. And so you went out and you got Jordan Jefferson, and you got Jalen Lee, and Paris Shand, and Braden Swinson, and you added bodies on your defensive line because you just didn't have the numbers. Right now, you have the numbers. 3 of your 4 starters return, if you include Jacoby and Guillory. I mean, Savion Jones and Braden Swinson are your starting ends. Brian Kelly has told you Jacoby and Guillory is one of your starters. You have 3 known starters on your defensive line. Paris Shand has been a really good player for you that could play end and kick inside. Same with Savion Jones if you want to put a pass rush package on the field, which Brian Kelly told us on the record he was going to do, that there would be situations where Jones kicks inside, Shand kicks inside, where Perkins stands up outside as a defensive end. So they're going to give multiple looks in that respect. But Jalen Lee's a 5th-year guy. You're bringing in Gio Paez, who's a 6th-year guy. Sean Washington is a 3rd-year player. Good enough to go to Georgia, out of high school in New Orleans, went JUCO, and now is at LSU. Big, 300-plus pounder that can plug the middle on the interior and be a good run stuffer for you. Dominant McKinley, Demiron Johnson. One's a 5-star, one's a 4-star. 2 highly regarded players coming in here in the fall. You don't need numbers. You don't need bodies. Kimo Makaneoli, flip from offense to defense. He's never played defense before, but it's another body. My point is you don't need bodies. Preston Hickey, from Louisiana, who transferred in last year from Oklahoma State as a preferred walk-on. I know the stigma with preferred walk-ons, but conversations I've had with people that work with Preston Hickey are that he's a solid player and could be a good rotational piece for you. I don't know. I mean, of course you're going to favor guys that are scholarship guys because you have more invested in them, but my point is you got bodies. There's no sense in taking someone just to take them and using that spot in the event that you might need a spot. Would you rather, let me say it this way too. Let's say you go into fall and you're at 83 scholarship players and you've got 2 available. Wouldn't you rather offer that scholarship, one of those scholarships, to a walk-on who's busted their behind, worked really hard, gotten better for you. I mean, it's the Josh Williams story. Josh Williams came here as a walk-on and earned his scholarship. There's got to be players like that on this roster elsewhere that have earned that opportunity. So, I hate to be wishy-washy, because in this job, I tell you all the time, when we talk about a subject, I'm going to give you an opinion. I'm going to give you an informed opinion, tell you how I feel about it, and you're never going to guess what Scone feels about it. And so it's weird for me to sit here and kind of be a little on the fence, but I'm just kind of like, if you want to take the guy, fine, but you don't need numbers. And there's nothing that we've seen that tells you he's a better option than any of the guys I just mentioned. Dominic Williams, a better option than any of the guys I just mentioned, because he's a proven Power 5 starter. Simeon Barrow's a better option than any of the guys I just mentioned, who's a proven Power 5 starter. JVR Suggs isn't. So if you want to take him, okay. And he's got some really good offers. And maybe he comes here, wins a job, and is awesome. Maybe. Or maybe Jalen Lee in his 5th year, the light switch comes on being coached under Bo Davis. Or maybe Gio Paez, who, by the way, after talking to him on this show, I'm fired up about Gio Paez. That dude looked like a guy that's just been in the wrong defense as in a 3-4. He's been an end in a 3-4 his entire career. Put him at tackle in a 4-3 and turn him loose. A dude with something to prove with bad intentions. What can that look like? I guess I'm just more excited about what are the guys you already have? How did they grow and develop? So I don't know. We'll see, man. JVR Suggs going to make his decision. Maybe it'll be LSU. Maybe it won't. But either way, I don't know that adding JVR Suggs changes the way I feel about the outlook for this LSU defensive line and the defense as a whole in 2024. All right. When we have an announcement from him, we'll let you know. And if it's LSU, well, we'll certainly talk about it. Okay. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, title sponsor of our Monday shows all throughout the year. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Keep telling you about those 3D models that they have. Set up the appointment to go check it out. You can go into their gorgeous headquarters right there on Airline in Prairieville, just south of 42. And you can see windows, doors, siding, color, how it looks on a 3D rendering of a home. So you don't have to just guess based on a sample or a picture in a book. It's just another way Relief Windows continues to improve that experience that you have as a customer. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all. Saints had rookie minicamp this weekend down in New Orleans. Jeff Nowak was there. He'll join us next. Talk a little bit about his takeaways. First look at Taliesin Fuanga. Certainly first look at Spencer Rattler. People were very excited about. Kool-Aid McKinstry didn't participate, but talked to the media. What did we learn? We'll get to all that with Jeff Nowak when we come back here on AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. Temps today, high of 79. The rain cooling things off a bit, but you better believe those 90-degree temps, the 100-degree temps are right around the corner as well. Have you called River City's 1 Hour Air yet? Man, I'm so grateful. I got a text from a listener over the weekend who called River City's 1 Hour Air. He had been without his AC for 3 days. Had called other companies. Had been without AC for 3 days. This was Saturday, by the way. Within an hour of calling, they had a technician there who fixed the problem. All other companies couldn't find or fix the problem. Within 1 hour of calling, they had on a Saturday, River City's 1 Hour Air had a technician at his home and had the AC up and running. That's why it should always be your first call, and you'll never need another one. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We're talking about a rookie minicamp right now, so we're like in the very infant stages of what we're doing. We've progressed a lot more with the vet players that we've had in here for the last 4 weeks. So look, we're making progress. We got a long way to go, but we're making progress.
Dennis Allen after rookie minicamp. Jeff Nowak from WWL was out there, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, I'm still bitter about the whole LSU debacle over the weekend, but I'm getting better every day.
Hey, man, could have gone without you bringing that up, dude. Like, I was excited to hear about Talia Seifuanga, how Spencer Rattler looked, and now you had to go just make me throw up in my mouth a little bit. All right, let me purge that for a minute. We'll move on. No, bro, we all feel the same way. Hey, let's just start at the top, man. Talia Seifuanga, what was your most immediate takeaway?
Yeah, it's tough to get a really good look at the offensive line, defensive line when there's no pads on and they're kind of running these milquetoast schemes and whatever. But the big thing for him is he's getting work at left tackle, and the immediate reaction to that is like, why? He's a right tackle. Why is he working on the left side? And I think, my takeaway is they're preparing for the worst in that, they're going to try to put Trevor Penning at left tackle. If that works out, great. And I think you're going to shift Fuanga back over to the right side. But this happens to be the time of year where none of the guys that are really in the mix at left tackle are there at minicamp. So this is just a good opportunity, or rookie minicamp rather. So this is a good opportunity for him to work on the left side. They can see how he looks on the left side so that if they do end up in a situation where, they have to kind of break glass in case of emergency and move him over there, they've seen it. But otherwise, I think he's got a good approach. I think he's a good locker room guy. He's gigantic. When you stand next to him, you can really get him an appreciation for how big this dude really is. But I think he's on the right track. I think he's going to be a week 1 starter, and whether that's on the right side or the left side, I think Saints fans are going to be happy when they see him out there.
What you talked about the best case or worst case? Who else are they preparing to play at left tackle?
It's a good question. Right now, the only real options would be Fuanga, Trevor Penning, maybe Oli Udoh is a veteran they brought in.
Yeah.
But right now that's kind of the mix. And there's a chance you go in the draft you go on free agency and find a veteran closer to training camp. But right now, I think they are still banking on Trevor Penning kind of developing this new coaching staff. John Benton is in there now. Doug Marrone is out the door. So you're hoping that, maybe that coaching can resonate a little more. They talked several times about how they kind of view his second season as his rookie season because he dealt with all the injuries as a rookie. He wasn't able to kind of go through that process of a full off season. That's not the case this year. He is healthy. And that's the thing. Like, people are going to look at it and say, oh, this means they don't trust Trevor Penning. Right now, it's tough to say that. Now, if you get to OTAs, if you get to minicamp and he is there and you are still seeing Fuaga get those first team reps, then that's a pretty strong statement about how they feel about where Trevor is. But right now, I think he is the plan, and we're going to have to see how that pans out.
Jeff Nowak's with us on Twitter at Jeff_Nowak. You can give him a follow, talking some Saints rookie minicamp. Okay, the one that everybody wants to ask about is Spencer Rattler. So, all right, is he ready to be the starter week one? How we looking there? Before I get a bunch of angry tweets, tongue firmly planted in cheek. All right, I was joking. Anyway, all right, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
No, I understand. No, I mean, people are excited about Spencer Rattler, and for good reason. I think when you look at Spencer and the investment they made in him, you hear a lot of, well, he's a fifth-round pick. Why would you be excited about a fifth-round pick? I think in reality, you're talking about more of a second- or third-round pick. They just didn't have one. And he ended up dropping for some inexplicable reasons, some explicable reasons, right? A lot of the teams that may have taken him on day 2 drafted a quarterback in the top 12. So you're not going to take a second- or third-round quarterback when you invested the 12th overall pick in Bo Nix, for example. And so you look at Spencer, and, the interesting thing is he was out there with Kellen Mond as a tryout player. He was the only other quarterback at rookie minicamp, and it kind of served as a pretty solid control for one of those guys. Looked like a guy with starting quarterback caliber traits, so starting quarterback ceiling, and one of those guys looked like a guy with a backup quarterback ceiling, and it was very easy to tell who was who. And obviously Spencer, with the arm talent that he has, which is legitimate. I mean, you're not making this up when you say you look at him throw the ball and he is among the best you can see out there in terms of arm talent. There's other questions. The size isn't ideal at the quarterback position. You worry about how he can grasp the offense, that sort of thing. But from what we saw at rookie minicamp, I don't think you can win anything at rookie minicamp, but you can certainly lose something. You can certainly raise some red flags really quickly. And I don't think he did any of that. I think he handled himself really well. He commanded the offense. You didn't see them kind of going in and out of the huddle, having to re-huddle because they got the play call messed up or anything like that. That's a good start. I think Clint's schemes are a little simpler than we've seen in the past for the Saints. The verbiage is a lot shorter. There's a lot fewer words being said when you're calling plays. And I think that's helpful for a rookie as he picks up an offense. So, no, I mean, I think you're talking about a project guy, but he does have a higher ceiling than I think you would see typically with a day 3 quarterback pick. And, you're going to want to see him develop and kind of learn this year, maybe next year. This year he needs to do enough to stay on the roster, right? He needs to compete with Jake Haener. Maybe he can win that backup job. Maybe he ends up being that kind of emergency third quarterback that you have inactive on game days because you have a little bit more trust in Jake Haener. But that's the question you have right now, is he's going to get to training camp, OTAs, minicamp, and he's going to be in a competition to see, okay, who's the backup? Who's going to be there? Who can we trust if Derek, for example, gets hurt again like he did last year? And who do you trust more to go in and actually go win that game? And right now I think he's on a pretty even playing field with Jake because of the new offense, because there's really no advantage for Jake coming in with understanding of this system the way you might typically have seen. So I like Spencer. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he kind of molds into that room. Anytime you're a high-end college quarterback and suddenly you're the backup, suddenly you have to kind of humble yourself. There's a wild card there. I don't know if everyone handles that the same, but he's saying all the right things. So I think that's a good start.
Did anything else strike you, takeaway-wise, good or bad? Any player, like if I said, what was maybe the biggest takeaway? What was something that caught your eye?
I think Bub Means was surprising in a good way. I wasn't sure what to expect from him. I didn't watch a ton of Pitt tape, right? He's not a and we're not in ACC country, but he moves a lot better than I was expecting. He's a bigger guy, but he's got kind of a grace about him. He seems to have an early connection with Spencer. They hooked up a couple times. I thought that, and his attitude is really, kind of, I think effervescent is a word. He just has a personality that really draws you in. So he's a guy that I'm excited to watch as this offense kind of expands. I thought Jermaine Jackson had an intriguing day. We all remember with Deontay Hardy. I think he might actually be smaller than Deontay Hardy, which is kind of crazy. But they have similar builds, right? He's 5'7". He's the type of guy you kind of lose in traffic. But they hooked up for a couple nice plays. I think in the right situation where you utilize him in the correct ways, he could be a really fun player to watch. I think he's probably a practice squad guy, but when you're a UDFA, being a practice squad guy is not a bad thing. That's kind of a win, right? And as you go forward, Kyle Sheets is another guy that I think is intriguing, but personally, I think he's a tight end. I don't think you watch him next to Dallin Holker, and they're the same size. Like they're the same exact frame. It's just that one's 15 pounds heavier and plays tight end.
Okay.
So he's a guy that I think will end up kind of being in that mix toward the end. I don't think any of the tight ends really separated themselves. It's obviously early. We didn't see all 3 days of practice, so I don't really know what happened on Friday or Sunday in terms of that position, but no one really stood out to me there. I know Dallin is a guy that people are excited to see, and I'm interested to see how he kind of works his way in as the OTAs get here later in the month.
Man, it never stops in the NFL calendar. Rookie minicamp in the rearview mirror. Head toward OTAs. He's Jeff Nowak at Jeff_Nowak if you want to give him a follow there. Jeff, always appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by our friends over at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, did you screw up Mother's Day? If you screwed up Mother's Day, make it right. Lee Michaels can help. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. You can always get by any of the stores. We're moving, obviously, into the spring months. Maybe this is the time where you're thinking about popping the question. Maybe around a summertime vacation. Go to Lee Michaels. Thrill her with a gift in the red box, where they only sell real, natural, mined diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. You will never, ever see a man-made lab diamond in a case at Lee Michaels, ever. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Experience the Lee Michaels difference. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, 9 locations in all. Of course, online at lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. David Dellucci in 32 minutes from right now. We'll talk a little SEC baseball. Unfortunately, LSU swimming a bit after blowing the series this weekend in Tuscaloosa. So we'll get to that. Hey, when we come back, I want to circle back to some LSU football talk because there's another Vegas sportsbook that has updated win totals, but for college football and for the NFL. So I want to tell you what this new updated number from one of the Vegas sportsbooks has on win totals for LSU and for the Saints. We'll get to that when we come back here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties. As we always say, Watermark Downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Always love telling you about Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Tallulah is a casual upscale dining experience. It's a great place if you're looking for an opportunity, after work or maybe a fun weekend out, looking for a date night. Tallulah is fantastic, man. Chef there has done an awesome job after studying at some amazing and working in some amazing restaurants from Maine to San Francisco, points in between, and bringing that back home. Chef Jason Aber there at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Something we always tell you about also at the Renaissance. If you're trying to host an event of any size, either the Watermark or the Renaissance can host you. So if it's a board meeting for 12 people, if it's a wedding reception, maybe it's a fundraiser for up to 500 people, they always say we're in the business of saying yes. Give my friend Allison Crump a call over at the Renaissance Hotel. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
So another day, another sports book has updated win totals both for the NFL and for college football. This time it's Circa Sports. I want to start with the NFL just with a couple of takeaways. No change there for New Orleans. They still got the Saints at 7.5, over under 7.5. And look, the odds makers aren't always right. Sure, they miss. You always have teams that will go over expectations and under expectations, but by and large, they're playing in the ballpark, right? And when you're looking at 7.5 for New Orleans, that's a full 2 games behind their projection for Atlanta, which is at 9.5. Tampa's at 8. Now, Carolina might well be the worst team in the league again this year, depending on what happens to their quarterback play, but they're at 5.5. So you've got, for the division, again, Atlanta 9.5, Tampa 8, Saints 7.5, Panthers 5.5. And I don't want to just sit here and harp on this all off season again, but I have a feeling this is probably going to be our approach. Whereas, what I'm curious to see is the general fan reaction to this, because last year I spent the entire offseason, every time we saw something like this, which was some list, either objective or subjective. If it was Vegas odds, if it was tier rankings, if it were playoff projections from different media, prognosticators, scouts, whatever it was, everything kept pointing to the same thing, which was that Derek Carr is not a great quarterback, and the Saints aren't going to be a playoff team. And as we saw, Derek Carr wasn't a good quarterback, and the Saints weren't a playoff team. But all last offseason, I kind of got dumped on for continuing to talk about that, but it was more just putting it out there to say, hey, we're all really excited. We think the Saints have a best quarterback in a bad division, a good shot to win a bad division. But look at all of these people over here who are not biased Saints people like all of us are, and they're all trying to tell us the same thing, and it played out that way. Well, they're telling you again that the Saints are projected 7.5. They'd be under 500. You know, if you're going to be 7-10 or 8-9, whatever it's going to be, they're projecting the Saints under 500. I'm curious, and that, by the way, that's going to be a pretty consistent theme all offseason. I mean, I think we all know that. Just prepare yourself for it. Like, ain't nobody going to be picking the Saints to win the division. Everybody's going to be picking Atlanta to win the division, just like a lot of people were picking the Saints in Tampa last year because you had Derek Carr. And the thought was, could you be the best team in a bad division and get into the playoffs even at like 9-8? Well, they went 9-8, missed the playoffs. But I'm going to be curious to see what the reaction is to that this offseason, because it feels like, and I may be wrong, but I feel like I have a good finger on the pulse. It feels like most Saints fans have the pendulum of emotion has started to swing to whereas going into last year, people wanted to give Dennis Allen the benefit of the doubt, wanted to hope Derek Carr was going to be great, wanted to hope they were going to make the playoffs. It feels now like the pendulum has swung, where people can look at the sample size of Dennis Allen just coming off his first ever winning season as a head coach, the way that against the schedule, how lucky you got against the quarterbacks you faced, facing Joshua Dobbs after they plucked him off the street and you lost. You faced Tommy Cutlets with the Giants. I mean, who is the guy again for the Bears, Muse, that I can't remember? Tyson Bagent. Tyler Tyson Bagent. One of those. Some combination of with all of the good fortune you had, you still missed the playoffs. I think people this year that pendulum is gonna swing, and fans aren't gonna be nearly as patient or as optimistic with this team. We'll see how it may go. But anyway, Circa has the Saints at 7.5. For what it's worth, the teams that are projected to win double digits this year, Niners at 11.5, Chiefs at 11.5, Bengals, Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, all at 10.5. Oh, throw the Lions in there at 10.5 as well. So projected to win double digits. Niners, Chiefs at 11.5. Bengals, Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, all at 10.5. Anything stand out there, Muse, as we look at this? Anything just jump off the page?
You said this is the NFL one we're talking about right now?
Yeah.
The NFL. I liked hold on, let me pull that one up. Sorry, I had the college one still pulled up. I like seeing the Bengals back at 10.5. Obviously, that's a big investment in Joey B coming back, so that's encouraging. But I did obviously go look at the Bears and Commanders with Jaden Daniels, and then obviously the New England Patriots as well. Seeing the Bears at 8.5 kind of surprised me. I thought that'd be lower. I mean, I know
lower. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes,
I know Caleb Williams looks like he's NFL ready and ready to go, and the Bears looked like they made a lot of great offseason moves, but even when they kept adding guys, their Super Bowl odds never changed. So it's like, did they really actually get better? So I thought that'd be actually maybe more akin to where the Commanders are with Jaden Daniels at 6.5.
I'm along the same lines as you, but the Vikings at 7.
Yeah, that's, I know
you lose Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You draft J.J. McCarthy, but remember, that roster was ready-made to win. That was a 13-win team 2 years ago. Cousins gets injured. You're plucking Joshua Dobbs off the street, but You do lose Danielle Hunter, who's now in Houston, but that roster, we sort of roundly agreed was just they lost their starting quarterback and they went to sub 500. J.J. McCarthy, I'm assuming, is going to be starting. I don't know that you bank on a rookie a ton, but this is clearly Vegas telling you we ain't banking on that rookie to do much in Minnesota, even with that roster, which was interesting to me because it felt like a lot of the people in the know were higher on McCarthy maybe than fans were who watched him not do much at Michigan.
That's fair for sure. And to your point, I mean, everybody was picking the Vikings to win that division last year with Cousins in that roster. And, of course, the Lions kind of came out of nowhere. And, I mean, I guess that's another interesting one, too. The Lions at 10.5.
That doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, they were in the NFC Championship game. I mean,
I get it.
They should be back there again. Like, it's time for them to take that next step. I think, and what they did in the draft as well, I think they should. Yeah. They should be. So that doesn't surprise me. All right, I want to get to college football here in a second. We'll tell you about LSU. Remind you about Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. Action Industries Incorporated. ActionIndinc.com for Action Industries. Remember, if you're a maintenance manager, turnaround coordinator, one of the plants or the refineries, you need to get to know our friends at Action if you don't already. They've been around for 42 years servicing the petrochemical and refinery markets, but there's so much more as well. Over at Action Industries, they offer fabrication shop services, as I've told you, pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels, and they also offer exchanger tube cleaning, and they use vapor abrasive blasting technology, so this cleans tubes at pressures less than 100 PSI. It's incredible. So you're talking about a safer way to clean for exchanger tube cleaning instead of being dipped in a vat, being sent off to Texas to be dipped in a vat. And it's proven effective by both Iris and the eddy current test. So it's Action Industries. Check them out online or on LinkedIn, ActionIndinc.com for Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. One more, circa the updated win totals for college football. A lot of the Power 5 schools they have on here. LSU, I won't bury the lead. They got LSU at 9, which is pretty consistent with where we've seen LSU 9, 9.5. Actually, at 9, that's a way better value buy than at 9.5. So if you're looking for where you should maybe place your bet, as Otter tells us, it pays to shop around. That's a good indicator to get LSU at 9 instead of 9.5. How about Bama and Ole Miss both at 9.5 as well, and Georgia just at 10.5? I say just at 10.5, but really what we've typically seen with Georgia is them at 11.5. So it's basically, do you think they're gonna go undefeated, or will they stumble somewhere? And 10.5 to go over 10.5 feels like good value for Georgia with another game to play with their little wiggle. So Ole Miss 9.5. That was probably my one biggest takeaway looking at LSU and Ole Miss side by side. They got LSU at 9, Ole Miss at 9.5. It really feels like that game. I'm going to keep that. You talk about harping on things. I'm going to keep harping on this. That game at the end of September in Baton Rouge for both teams is going to be the game that both look back at the end of the season. If both of one of those teams ends up 9-3 and one ends up 10-2, I think we're going to look at that game, and whoever won that game in September with LSU and Ole Miss is going to be the one that ultimately finds himself at 10-2 and in the college football playoff in a 12-team playoff. Muse, any of them stand out to you?
Yeah, so I'll step out of the SEC and look at teams in new conferences. USC at 7.5 stood out to me, especially with the over being plus money right now. Because, I mean, LSU obviously is their opener. LSU hasn't won an opener since 2019. And LSU's a 6-point favorite in that game. SC could easily win that. And when you look at the rest of their schedule, you can find 8 wins. I mean, they have to go to Michigan. That'll be tough. But they get Penn State. They get Penn State at home. They face Wisconsin, Maryland, Rutgers, Notre Dame's at home. I know they went 7-5 last year, so it's easy to put it there. Do you think they can get there? But get one more win. But you can find 8 wins on this schedule preseason. So that's an interesting number to me with USC at 7.5.
Maybe the bigger point of that all in is the teams changing leagues.
Yeah.
Look at what happened last year with UCF and Houston and Cincinnati, all the teams going into the Big 12, into the Power 5. We made a joke of it all throughout last year that they were all the teams at the bottom of the Big 12 standings, taking that step up in competition. Same is true for the teams going from the Pac the Pac to the Big 10. Look at all of them. Look at UCLA, 5.5. But UCLA is coming to Baton Rouge. And I know LSU lost to UCLA out there a couple of years ago, but no Chip Kelly. You lost your defensive coordinator as well to USC. You lose DTR at quarterback. I guess you lost him last year, but Dante Moore is gone now as well, transferring. But 5.5. I mean, that feels like a layup for LSU. I mean, LSU should win both of those games. I mean, that's obviously going to knock their total down as well. Look at Washington. Washington's at 7 from the national championship game to 7.
Yeah.
I mean, Jed Fish is there. I think we all agree Jed Fish is a good coach coming from Arizona, where he sort of resurrected that program. Will Rogers may ultimately win the starting quarterback job there, but it's less, I think, about the talent there or the coaching there. It's more the change in league. Like, it is an undeniable step up in competition instead of going from, we used to call the pack like USC and their 9 brothers or whatever that variant, which would be with the Pac-12. Like, now you're going to a league where week in and week out, especially with the travel, like, it's just going to be tough. I think it's going to be really tough on those teams going from the Pac to the Big Ten, especially. So, and then Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, look at Oklahoma.
7.5.
Oklahoma's at 7.5.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go 7-5 year one in the SEC, I mean, at what point do the people in Oklahoma say Brent Venables like this ain't it? This ain't cooking. So, I mean, Texas is double digits. They're at 10.5.
Their schedule, though,
so
man.
I get it. And they also got they were a playoff team. You got Quinn Ewers back, and I think a lot of people are going to look at Texas and be favorable toward them, especially since they went and won in Tuscaloosa last year. They proved they could win on the road in the SEC. The question is, can you win week in and week out in the SEC? That's what they'll have to answer. So, anyway, just interesting fodder right now, food for thought, as the sports books keep updating these win totals now as the second round of this spring portal has come and gone. Circa updated their win totals today. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 2, presented by Relief Windows. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Remember, I tell you every day, if you're a college student, South Point offers this to every college student. If you're a current student in college, they give you $500 off any vehicle. Just like that. Great time for a grad. Maybe, you got that, you're celebrating that high school graduate, you're sending them off to college, going to buy them their first vehicle. You want them to drive something safe. They want to drive something stylish. You both want something that's affordable. South Point Volkswagen can help you out. You get the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the great German engineering, the 9 different IIHS top safety picks, the highest safety designation that you can get in a vehicle. You wonder why I always feel so good when I strap Drew into his car seat when I'm driving in my Atlas Cross Sport? Because I know I'm driving one of the safest vehicles on the road for me, for Drew, and when Erica's in her Atlas as well. They got it at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. David Dellucci, 9 minutes from right now. We'll talk a little SEC baseball right now. Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Well, I don't want to bury the lead here. I mean,
let's go.
Paul Skenes had a debut, but
Who cares?
we got to start with Todd Peterson.
Yeah, we do.
Peterson.
It's our guy.
Todd Peterson.
Bring it.
Peterson is getting the call up to
Who
Double
is?
A. Todd Peterson.
Peterson. Where's he going?
To Double A Harrisburg.
Todd Peterson is?
Todd Peterson
Got it.
is going to Double A Harrisburg. He'll
Love
be teammates with Dylan Cruz.
I can't wait till they have Todd Peterson bobblehead night.
So you might be curious. Todd Peterson is with the Washington Nationals organization.
Got it,
Obviously,
yeah.
this will be his first trip to Double A baseball.
Who's?
Todd Peterson.
Oh.
So far in the high A with Wilmington Blue Rocks, Todd Peterson was 1-0 in 11 games. A 1.46 ERA,
Atta
6
babe.
for 6 in save opportunities.
That's our guy.
For our guy, Todd Peterson.
How about it? Did they let Todd Peterson hit?
No, they did not let Todd
They
Peterson
should.
hit.
I don't care about the universal DH anymore. The guy can rake.
He gets bombs.
He
There
gets
it is.
nukes.
So Todd Peterson. Going up a level in minor league baseball.
Let's be honest. We made Todd Peterson.
Peterson.
All the hard work he's put in his life to get into professional baseball.
No.
We did this.
The College Baseball Nation found out about Todd Peterson in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, they did.
We were pumping him here for a while.
Todd Peterson.
All right,
Atta babe.
now we can talk about Paul Skenes and his debut. It was a really solid outing, man. 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned. Not his fault. 2 walks, 7 punch-outs. Not his fault.
He did put the 2
Yeah,
runners on base,
look,
and then they
man.
decided, let's just walk everybody.
He's
And when I say walk everybody, I mean literally like walk everybody.
The 7 strikeouts were great, though. Threw 100 miles per hour 16 times in the ball game. Did give up the 1 homer. That's how the Cubs broke through on him. And then, yes, he got a no decision because the Pirates' bullpen's terrible, and he's probably going to get like 25 no decisions this year. And I think that stinks.
We'll talk more about Paul Skenes' debut next hour.
Alex Bregman went 1 for 5 against the Detroit Tigers. Did score a run in that game. Alex Lang on the other side, man, it was a rough outing for our guy Langer. Roughest of the season so far. Two-thirds of an inning, 4 earned runs in those 2/3. Walked 2. It raised the ERA all the way up to 3.07. Jake Fraley. Mentioned Jake Fraley here for you. Pinch hit effort yesterday for the Reds. 1 for 1. Drove in a run on his pinch hit as well. It was a single. He would come back up and draw a walk as well in the ballgame. More news from minor league baseball. Trey Morgan getting the call up as well. We talked about that last week. He was hitting .320 in single A with 2 homers and 11 ribby. Thought he might get the call up. He did. He'll now go to high A with the Bowling Green Hot Rods.
Oh.
Trey Morgan and the Rays organization. So we'll have to keep you posted there on Trey.
Ohio or Kentucky?
You know, I was looking that up before we
That's why I set you up for it, because I figured you had the answer by now.
Well, I started talking about I started talking about Todd Peterson. In Kentucky, yes, Bowling Green, Kentucky. There you go. Right there. And then how about this? A couple things from the ladies' sports as well. Angel Reese made the final active roster for the Chicago Sky through preseason camp. So, or is it Chi-Town Barbie now? What is it? Something like that.
No, I'm sticking with Bayou Barbie.
So
Chi-Town Barbie.
we'll keep you updated there.
Bleep Chi-Town.
And then That's T-Bob's favorite city now.
Plus,
Calm
there's
down.
alliteration with Bayou Barbie. How can we ditch Bayou Barbie? She can take that with her.
I'm with you.
Tyron took Honey Badger with him. Like, just take your nickname with you. You're the Bayou Barbie.
And a hat tip to Madeline Sackstrom. She finished second on the LPGA Tour, crossed $4 million in earnings.
Thanks to the Dr. Kent Lowe for reminding us that Musso is negligent in his duties.
Hey.
For never paying attention to women's golf.
That is not true.
Because Musso hates women's golf.
That is factually inaccurate.
And Musso is going to marry a former collegiate golfer.
All right, chill.
And she will be the first Mrs. Matthew Musso.
Chill.
And Marilyn Monroe Musso is going to be so excited.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. You know where to find them. 18 locations all over South Louisiana. You can find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. As a matter of fact, it's really easy. You go to the website, right there on the homepage, like at the top right, it says Find Location. You just hit that. GPS will plug in. You'll see all the locations nearest you. You can learn more. You can schedule service. Lots of ways that you can get whatever you need at the website. Super user-friendly. Always remind you, if you're shopping tires, Shawbills is going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They're just the best. They're going to find a way to combine the dealer and the manufacturer offer with their dealer offer to get you the best price possible. As a matter of fact, they guarantee it. Buy tires at Shawbills. If you find the same tire advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. That's their guarantee. Part of the Charlie's dozen. It's at Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the Lions have made quarterback Jared Goff the highest paid player in the history of that franchise. Detroit signing him to a 4-year, $212 million extension, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, $171 million guaranteed. The Buccaneers and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. agreed to a 4-year, $84 million deal, reports Schefter, $45 million guaranteed. After back-to-back losses, the Heat's on the West top seed, Oklahoma City, to get back on track tonight in Game 4 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Mavericks. Since the Thunder believes it is a championship contender right now, it needs to prove that tonight, says ESPN NBA analyst Austin Rivers.
We need to see them go into Dallas on the road as a young team, get a win, tie the series, and then that way the pressure goes back to Dallas as they go back home with the series tied. You got to see it. You got to see these young guys step up. It'll be a big-time game tonight.
Cavaliers shooting guard Donovan Mitchell left calf strain questionable Game 4 versus the Celtics tonight. Cleveland down 2-1. NHL suspended Canucks defenseman Carson Soucy won playoff game for cross-checking Edmonton's Connor McDavid last night.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Taliese Fuanga. Got to look at left tackle at rookie minicamp. Got some thoughts on that in 15 minutes from right now. Paul Skenes made his big league debut. We'll knock that around later this hour. If you missed anything, of course, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. Every Monday, we talk about SEC baseball with our guy David Dellucci from the SEC Network. Luch, good enough to be with us now. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Big weekend this past weekend, but even bigger weekend coming up for the Tigers and a whole bunch of other teams with postseason implications for almost every series that just happened and will happen.
Yeah. For the good guys here, it didn't go so great. I think, Luch, we probably all would have thought what happened with LSU and Ole Miss this weekend, the series results probably would have been flipped, but instead the series in Baton Rouge takes on a very different tenor. For all intents and purposes, did LSU season end in Tuscaloosa this past weekend?
No, it did not, and it's going to come down to the wire, and I think it's going to be difficult, man, but it's doable. Let's not forget. So they're going to play the Ole Miss Rebels. Not only is Hoover on the line, but after Hoover, look, LSU's got to win 2 games. They're going to go in, and when they do that, they're going to have to go into Hoover, and they're going to have to run the table. If they win 3, that's great. We'll be talking about NCAA regional chance. But you're going against an Ole Miss team that is 13th out of 14th in team ERA. Now, they did pitch really well against A&M. They took the series, game 1 and 2, against A&M. Their starters threw really well. But it is a shaky pitching staff and an inconsistent group of hitters that when you play LSU at home, LSU, as you saw against A&M, they can stick it to you. Here's one of the things that I do recall the last time that Ole Miss came here in 2022, they did sweep LSU. So they're coming in with a lot of confidence. So much on the line for both of those teams.
Luch, there's never been a team from the SEC make regionals at 12-18 in the regular season from the SEC. I mean, LSU, that means they would have to sweep this weekend or do something that's never been done before. How much confidence should I have at all that LSU could sweep this Ole Miss team when they haven't swept anybody all year?
Well, never say never, right? But one of the things they cannot do is lose. I mean, when you have your Gage jump and your Luke Holman games, you absolutely have to take advantage of that and win. Game threes have been really difficult for LSU. They've only won one against Missouri all season. I wouldn't count them out. I would just say their track record is not very good. I know the offense has taken a beating all year long, and it's not an offense that you typically would see an LSU team have. But gosh darn, LSU pitching staff leads the SEC in wild pitches. There's errors that are made that are extremely costly from almost every position on the field. So if your offense is not going to be able to produce runs, double-digit runs like Georgia, then you better play clean defense. And a lot of people would say, well, you just can't do that in today's game. But I think Arkansas would beg to differ because they're proving that you can play that way. So it's difficult for these young players when they feel like every single play that is made the whole season is on the line. There's a lot of pressure going on, and I feel for those guys. But man, if that's what you got, you're going to have to produce and you're going to have to perform.
Luch, how did Ole Miss win 2 out of 3 against A&M?
A&M's kind of hit a skid, man. Every single team goes through a rough couple weeks. Kentucky went through a rough couple weeks. You just don't want it to be the last 2 weeks of the season, and that's kind of where A&M is. Ryan Prager is their ace, and he's a very good ace. And then after that, their Game 2 and Game 3 starters just kind of been inconsistent last couple weeks. And when Ole Miss jumped on Ryan Prager in Game 1, the momentum shifted in their favor, especially as the home team. A&M has lost the last 2 series. Both of them have been on the road. Look, this is another thing that goes in favor of LSU. It is very, very difficult to win as a visiting team in the SEC. And I think that's what A&M ran into in Oxford, a team playing at home that was comfortable with being at home against a team that's just they're in a funk right now. A&M, the good thing about A&M is, look, they're about a win away from getting a top 8 seed. So they're not worried about postseason or Hoover, any of that like Ole Miss or LSU is. No. But you would like to enter into the postseason on a higher note than what they're doing.
Yeah. Look, Luch, kind of LSU last year lost 2 of its final 3 weekends and had an early exit in Hoover, and we all wondered if that was sort of ominous clouds brewing, and lo and behold, of course, they go on and win the national championship. It feels like A&M's got tons of talent. Do you have legit concern for A&M?
Not really.
Okay.
I think the offense is too good, and I think there's too many players in that offense. Obviously, 1, 2, and 3 are probably the best top of the batting order in the country. I think those 3 guys have about 70 home runs between them. But we saw A&M last 3 weeks ago. 1 through 9 is a really, really potent combination there. So I think they'll break out of it pretty soon. This is a big weekend for those guys. They're going to have Arkansas. They're going to face Hagen Smith in Game 1. So we'll see. We'll see if that offense can kick it back in gear against probably the nation's top pitcher.
Yeah, Luch, it's David Dellucci is our guest. Of course, you can catch him on Rally Cap on the SEC Network. It's a 3-team race in the final weekend to win the regular season crown with Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. You mentioned Arkansas is at A&M. Kentucky is home against Vanderbilt. Tennessee's home against South Carolina. How does it shake out after this weekend? Who do you think ultimately is hoisting the regular season crown?
So I think Kentucky is going to stay on top. What they've done has been absolutely incredible. They've got the number 1 RPI. Their strength of schedule is 10, and their quad 1 wins. And that's a little confusing stat, but that's wins against the top tier teams. They're 5 games better than Tennessee. It's crazy. This is a team that didn't enter the top 25 until week 7. So they snuck up on everybody, and they've just been dominating. The 2 wins that they got against Florida this weekend were extra inning wins. They just won't go away, man. They're like mosquitoes in May down here. They just keep buzzing and winning. Just a fantastic team. Right now, they'd be the number 1 seed if the NCAA started, but they're playing a Vanderbilt team that is desperate for wins and has a pretty decent pitching staff. Vandy needs at least 1 win. Tennessee is playing another desperate team that absolutely got boat raced in South Carolina, got boat raced by Georgia, so they've got to have a win to get into the postseason. So I think they're both big-time series, but Kentucky can just beat you in so many different ways, and they're never out of the ball game. They've scored, 14 unanswered runs in a series earlier this year. So I just think they're going to make the sprint to the finish line and end up winning it all.
Look, I think, Luch, also, they got the most favorable matchup this weekend, right? They're at home against Vanderbilt with a lead. It's hard to imagine it all unraveling, but you're right. They've been great. But it's also true, Luch, through 27 league games, there's still so much to be determined with one weekend to go. We'll see that. Hey, if I asked you before you go, LSU and Ole Miss this weekend at the Box, how do you think that series plays out?
I think LSU takes 2 of 3 and makes it tough on everybody. I just got a feeling LSU is going to explode out there. They know what's at stake, and that magic in Alex Box Stadium, man, I've seen it personally, and I know that they feed off of the crowd. And then after that, it's going to be really interesting. We know what LSU plays like in Hoover, and they're going to need to make a big run. Kentucky in 2022 won 12 games regular season and 3 Hoover games and missed the NCAA tournament. So LSU has got to kick it in gear this weekend. I think they take 2 out of 3, and they got to run the table in Hoover, man.
Yeah.
That's the only way they get in.
David Dellucci, SEC Network, with us every Monday here talking a little SEC baseball. You're the best, Luch. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Right. We'll do it again next week to wrap up the regular season there. We always appreciate Luch for joining us. Hey, if you need dinner plans, Supper Club, reservations, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. I want to remind you, and by the way, it's 5:12 in the afternoon. They're closed today, right? It's Monday. They're reopen again tomorrow on Tuesday. But if you want reservations Tuesday through Saturday, check them out, supperclubbtr.com. We had some friends over on Friday evening. Got off work, went home, kids were in the pool and all that stuff. And we were talking about, hey, we need to go do dinner at Supper Club one night. And my buddy said to me, oh, well, it's good. You're a member. You can get us in. And I said, Supper Club, I had to remind him, Supper Club is not a members-only dining experience. It's open to the public every Tuesday through Saturday. So if you've been thinking, I can't go there because I'm not a member, you need to flush that. Yes, there's a membership program, and it kind of gives you maybe preferred seating and different things like that. But, first options for things like Mother's Day. But Supper Club is open to the public. Again, Tuesday through Saturday. So book your reservations. If you've never been, you got to go experience Supper Club. And yes, it's the vibe, the style. It's so cool and chic and fun and classy. But, man, the food is the thing that really sets Supper Club apart. When I tell you about Supper Club, this was Brandon and Mackenzie's main objective whenever they opened Supper Club. It was, let's go, with obviously Brandon owning walk-ons and traveling the world, it was, let's bring a world-class experience for Baton Rouge to experience. Like I've told you, man, the Sashiri A5 Wagyu, this is the best craft Wagyu beef in the world. Supper Club, I'm not joking on this. This is a true statement. Supper Club is one of 8 restaurants in the world that sells Sashiri A5 Wagyu. They had to join a Japanese agricultural cooperative just to be able to apply to buy this beef. So you don't have to go to Japan to have the finest A5 Wagyu in the world. You just got to go to Perkins Road in Baton Rouge at Supper Club. Book your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. And remember, for graduation this Friday and Saturday, they're opening reservations at 3 o'clock. They're opening a bit earlier to accommodate graduation. So book your reservations today at supperclubbtr.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break, come back. Taliese Fuanga ran at left tackle for Saints rookie minicamp. I want to get a reaction to that. And I want to remind you what a couple of people have talked about that, said, and why it may not be a crazy idea to think that could be how it all shapes up whenever the Saints line up in their season opener this year. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Say employer because at Glow, that's really who they're talking to. It's you, the business owner. If you're having trouble hiring, if you're caught in that rat race, Glow Resources can help. You know, Glow Resources, over the course of a year, conducts more than 15,000 interviews and places more than 1,000 employees in jobs. And listen, yes, this is skilled blue-collar labor. If you need welders, if you need heavy machinery operators, heavy equipment operators, or if you're trying to hire C-level management, Glow Resources can help. And while they're based here in Baton Rouge, they've got offices in New Orleans and Miami and Dallas, and they place employees in jobs all over the world. Learn more about why Glow Resources has a 93% success rate with their hires. GlowResources.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, Saints rookie minicamp was this weekend, and of course, all eyes were on Taliesin Fuanga. I should say most everybody's eyes were also on Spencer Rattler, but Taliesin Fuanga was the 14th pick in the draft, and naturally that was going to draw a lot of attention as people were going to see how the Saints rookie looked out there in his first action. And yes, it is almost impossible to decipher anything at all performance-wise from a minicamp because there's no pads. Offensive and defensive linemen, when you're just out there in helmets, jerseys, and shorts, the position centers around physicality. So other than like just physically being out there or where you line up, it's very hard to tell. When it comes to quarterbacks, you can tell tight spiral on the ball, timing with receivers. Receivers, did you catch the ball? Running backs, how did you look into and out of cuts? There's a lot of different things you can tell. Defensive backs, turning, backpedaling, one-on-one drills. There's a lot you can tell. With linemen on both sides of the ball, you can't tell much. But what everybody paid attention to was the fact that Fuanga was lined up at left tackle. Now, we all know that his 4 years at Oregon State, he was a starting right tackle. I want to remind you this, though. Last week, we had Jim Mahalchuk on the show. If you don't remember that name or you didn't hear the interview, that was Fuanga's offensive line coach all 4 years at Oregon State. He's now on staff at Michigan State as an associate head coach. But all 4 years was the offensive line coach for Taliesin Fuanga at Oregon State. And I asked him about playing right tackle instead of left tackle because, you know, the Saints might move him. That was part of the conversation. Remember, Mickey Loomis said, we think he's a tackle. He didn't say right or left, but essentially alluding to the fact that he was not going to be kicked inside to play guard, that Fuanga was going to play one of the tackle spots. So I asked the guy that coached Fuanga's position for 4 years, coached him for 4 years at that position, about playing left tackle. Here's what he said.
I think he can do either. He played right for us because we had a guy that was there first playing left, who's an NFL prospect also. I thought about switching him, but you don't mess with something that's working pretty good. If our left tackle would have been hurt, I would have flipped him over in a second, and he would have gone. So I think he can do both. I'm sure they have a plan already in place and a direction that they want to go.
So Jim Mahalchuk, who, by the way, had also been a coach in the NFL, said, I think he can do both. And the only reason he didn't is because we had a veteran there and it was working, so why mess with a good thing? Okay. He also told us in that interview that Fuanga did take reps at left in practice and in spring and different stuff like that. So it's not like it's something completely foreign. Yes, he's going to learn it and have to continue to develop in it, but it's something that you feel confident he could do, meaning play left tackle if you have to. Now, yes, the preference is Trevor Penning decides that he's going to be a good player and can win the starting left tackle job and be a good player over there. And Fuanga can be your starting right tackle. That happens, awesome. Now you've got McCoy at center, Ruiz at right guard, Penning at left, Fuanga at right. Now you're just battling for the left guard spot, and you've got a bunch of options there. So maybe it's Nick Saldiveri. Maybe it's Oli Udoh. You got options there if you're only looking for one spot. It gets dicey if Fuanga's not able to start as a rookie. If Penning doesn't emerge, now you're like, what do we do? That's a real challenge. But you cross that bridge when you get there. The other thing that was interesting was when we had John Stinchcomb here on the show. Now, John Stinchcomb, you might remember, was the 37th overall pick in the draft. He was a high second-round pick of the New Orleans Saints back in 2003. But he played sparingly, only a handful of games as a rookie, missed a season due to injury, really didn't become a starter until year 3, like Trevor Penning. But I asked John Stinchcomb about the difference in playing left tackle or right tackle. And his answer actually made, now it's from a guy who played right tackle his entire career in the NFL, but this makes a ton of sense as well when you look at how you may divvy the responsibilities up with these tackles.
There is a transition. There is a muscle memory element to, how you feel and how you set. But with that said, it just comes with reps and time. I think the bigger jump is from tackle to the inside position rather than from right to left. So much is made about the left tackle being the premier position as if, right tackle doesn't face the exact same personnel. The plays are still the same. The old adage that, you're protecting your quarterback's blind side is a little bit of garbage because it's field side and tight side. So if a quarterback is, on the right hash, then most of the reads are to his left, which means the back of his helmet is facing the right side. So I don't think it's as big of a difference between the ask of what you are demanding of your left tackle from your right tackle.
Makes a lot of sense. By the way, what side of the defensive formation does Cam Jordan play? He's the Saints' left defensive end going against the right offensive tackle. So a lot of times you do see elite pass rushers line up on the left side of the defensive front going against a right tackle. I mean, Ryan Ramczyk became insanely valuable as the Saints' right tackle. So if Fuanga plays left or right, I'm sort of indifferent. He just needs to be ready to roll and win one of those spots as a rookie. And if it is, in fact, left tackle, I'm good with it. Now, Dennis Allen was asked afterwards about starting Taliesin Fuanga out there as they began this work at left tackle.
I think we want to take a look at him on the left side and see how he does over there. I think we're pretty confident that he can play right tackle. And so getting him some work over on the left side, I think, is important. And then we'll evaluate it as we go and see how he does.
He was also asked if Fuanga was going to exclusively work at left tackle here during the preseason.
Starting off, we're going to work him primarily over on the left side, and then we'll evaluate it as it goes. I mean, we haven't made any decisions in terms of concrete decisions, but yet that's where we're going to start him right now. We wanted to get him a lot of work in this camp, see how he does in this camp, and then we'll reevaluate after this camp.
I'll remind you, the Saints also added Lucas Patrick on Monday. So that's a veteran offensive lineman. He's an interior player, but he's played all three interior spots, started 15 games at center for the Bears this past year, has started both at left guard and right guard with the Packers, the Bears, now comes to New Orleans on a one-year deal. It's a 30-year-old that's played a ton of football and could seamlessly fit in on any one of those interior spots. You've got Nick Saldiveri there as well. Landon Young can play inside or outside. You signed a guy like Shane Lemieux, who's also a young veteran who's played both center or guard. I guess my point is, you signed Oli Udoh as well, who we talked about, has played in 43 games at both guard and tackle. You've signed these really versatile veterans that you feel like can be interchangeable anywhere on the line. And the hope is that Penning and Fuanga win your tackle jobs. And if they do, then you got a really strong competition for one spot, one starting spot. And then you're going to have your versatile guys that rotate, your interior backup and your backup tackle. So yes, that's really important. But if Penning and or Fuanga don't prove able to win one of the starting jobs, now these veterans, these versatile veterans you've brought in, are an option there, like James Hurst was. I mean, just think James Hurst. You didn't bring James Hurst here to be a starter. You brought James Hurst here after Baltimore kicked him to the curb to say, okay, veteran guy can play any of the four spots outside of center if we have an injury or plug and play, and that happened with Hurst a lot. He played left tackle. He played right tackle. He played left guard. He played right guard. He played all over the line for the Saints. So you would love it if those guys I just mentioned, Oli Udoh, Shane Lemieux, Justin Herron, Lucas Patrick, who they signed today, if those guys are just your versatile backups in the event of an injury or something like that, they plug and play. But if you need them to be starters, you've at least given yourself that option. But for now, Saints are taking a look at Fuanga at left tackle. And why not? It's rookie minicamp. You know he can play right tackle. Get him some reps and get a look at left. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. Paul Skenes made his big league debut. I do have some takeaways and an interesting conversation being had in college football. Is spring football going to go away? I'll tell you the latest next on AFR.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
ESPN 104. Oh.
What?
Get the 104.5
There it
ESPN
is.
Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the mic icon to send us your thoughts in audio form. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench, the Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review. Speak up. Tell us your location and be heard. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
I know for our affiliates down the line, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, Alexandria is 94.7 ESPN, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles. They all have their own. You all have your own station apps and websites, and completely love to promote everything from our affiliates. It's rare that I'll say things specifically about our station's website or app, but it is the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app. But this is beneficial for anybody who listens. If you download that app, so what Muse just said, you go to the bottom, you'll see there's a microphone. We just figured this out. You tap that mic, you can leave a voice recording, and it emails to us. And we were able to set it up to where each show will get, the hosts and producers will get the email of the recording. So, and it's time sensitive. So, like, if you're listening to Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, so from 7 to 10 a.m., you leave a message, it's going to go to them. From 1 to 3, if you leave a message, it's going to go to Hunt. From 3 to 6, it'll come to us. So just something to keep in mind as you use that. But I think it's set up by default to where every voice message will come to me. So if I get something, I'll make sure it's being forwarded as well to the individual shows. Paul Skenes made his long-awaited Major League debut this weekend for the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Chicago Cubs. I watched every pitch of it. It was a lot of fun to watch Skenes out there dealing. The final line didn't look awesome. Like, if you didn't watch a pitch of Paul Skenes' debut and you just saw the line, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, you're probably going to look at that and go, man, what happened to Skenes? He only went 4 innings and gave up 3 runs and 6 hits. Yeah, kinda. So I thought it was a really solid debut. He struck out the first 2 hitters he faced. Bellinger was up third. He got him 0-2, and then Bellinger worked a walk. Veteran hitter, Skenes let him off the hook. And then he got out of the first inning when the cleanup hitter, whose name I can't remember who it was right now, belted one to center. I mean, it was a warning track fly, but it was caught, so Skenes got out of it. But he had 2 strikeouts in the first inning. He worked himself into and then out of a bases-loaded jam in the second, which was really impressive. He got through 4, and the pitch count was a little elevated, in large part because of the walks. He hit a guy, and the Cubs made him work. They fouled off a lot of pitches. They were having trouble catching up to 101, so they were just fighting off pitches. I think for Skenes, what he's going to learn, I'm sure, which he knows and will continue to learn by experience, is the small miss in Major League Baseball is where you're going to pay for mistakes. And from the point of, like, you know, you're looking at K-zone, and if the dot is barely out of that zone, they're not giving a rookie pitcher that call. And it was pretty evident on Saturday. The flip side of that also is professional hitters aren't going to be tempted to swing at that pitch like a collegiate hitter or a minor leaguer might, a pitch that's close. So the Bellinger at-bat was a great example of that. He was down 0-2 in basically every other level of baseball. Paul Skenes is getting a swing and a miss there because the hitter's terrified. Cody Bellinger worked a walk out of that situation. So, and listen, we could also talk about the pitch count, which, you know, Skenes, the most pitches he had thrown all year was 75, and his pitch count was getting elevated a little bit, but they sent him back out there for the 5th because the Pirates are up 6-1, and so they sent him back out there for the 5th to try to have him in line for the win. And so I don't know what their determined pitch count was going to be. They didn't disclose it before the game, but it's probably likely that he pushed past that because they were trying to get him the win in the opener. So they sent him back out there for the 5th, and he gives up a double and then an infield single. I mean, it was just the ball hit where they weren't, and it was a bang-bang play at first. He missed the guy by a half a step. So they pulled him with 2 guys on. Reliever comes in, strikes out the first 2 guys he faces, so there's the 2 on that Skenes is responsible for, and 2 outs. Proceeded to walk the next 3 hitters. So walked in both runs that Skenes was responsible for. So that's why it ended up with 3 runs. I mean, he gave up a solo homer to left, which was really just a line drive. I mentioned the infield single. There was a bloop single to shallow center. There weren't many balls hit really hard off of him. So again, you can look at the final line and have one impression of how the day went. But if you watched every pitch of Paul Skenes' debut, you'll understand it was a really solid debut. And he left the game with a 6-1 lead, and the bullpen just imploded, and they walked in like 6 straight runs. Like, literally, they walked in like 6 straight runs. It was insane. But in any event, a really solid debut for Paul Skenes. It was a rainy day in Pittsburgh. There was a rain delay afterwards, and the Buccos there ended up getting the win. And, you know, look forward to seeing Paul Skenes again here in a few days. It was the first of many, and it was a strong start for Skenes with much, much better days to come as well. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you want to buy land, it's easy. You go to the place that has helped Louisianians buy land since 1916. That's First South Farm Credit. You go to firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to firstsouthland.com. Your first option is First South Farm Credit. Firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. If it's 20 acres to build your family's dream home, if it's 1,000 acres for agriculture, Maybe it's a couple hundred acres for that hunting property. First South Farm Credit can help you. It's, again, they're licensed in all 48, so the contiguous 48 states. So even if you live in Louisiana and you want to buy hunting property in Texas or a ranch in Idaho, they can help you do it at First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see when Skenes' next start. It looks like they've got him penciled in, against the Cubs in Wrigley. How about that? So Friday the 17th in Wrigley against the Cubs. So they were home against the Cubs, at the Brewers, then at the Cubs. So Skenes will pitch Friday. It's a day game. Of course it is. It's Wrigley. So 1:20 Friday at Wrigley against Cubs. That's pretty cool. Hunt's never going to catch a break here.
No, he's not. He's not.
Guy. All you fake Cub fans out there. I'm just kidding. Hunt's a real Cubs fan.
We can give updates from that on the show Friday.
Well, maybe, but judging by the pitch count, how they're using
True.
he may not still be pitching by the time 3 o'clock rolls around. 3 o'clock Central Time. But anyway, is that going to be? I was trying to see if it was going to be on ESPN Plus or anywhere. I know it's not. All right. So get the MLB app if you can, or I guess WGN. Got WGN. You can watch Skenes pitch there. All right. It's after further review. One thing. I do have a quick minute. Oh wait, you have Skenes audio. My apologies. Here, hit Skenes number 2, please. Didn't see you?
It was awesome. Yeah, really cool. I mean, everybody talks about the stadium, and it's an awesome stadium, awesome skyline. Fans are awesome. It was just, an awesome day.
I think he thinks it was awesome.
It was awesome, confirmed.
It was awesome. You know what else was awesome? When they asked him the question about if it was awesome for him to take time reflecting on his debut.
I would say it was more warm-up than during the game. I think I took a few little moments, but once I got in the game, it was pretty much just about competing. But walking out to the bullpen and being in the bullpen, that kind of thing, took a little bit of time to reflect. But, yeah, not too much other than that.
One thing I was a little surprised. They didn't – I don't know if they sold it out, but they didn't fill it for sure. Really full behind home plate, but the second deck – down the baselines, when you get to the base to the outfield, pretty sparse.
Mm-hmm.
That's Pittsburgh. They're not a great team, I get it. But even still, you drafted a generational prospect who's making his big league debut. That feels like one of those days that if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, the family's going, you're taking your kids, you're buying the program, you're keeping the ticket stub. It's one of those, I remember when, I got to be there for Paul Skenes' debut. So that was a little surprising. Maybe a little disappointing.
The weather too. The weather was rough as well. There. I mean, they have a 3-hour rain delay or something like that?
They had a rain delay after Skenes has already exited the game.
I know, but, some people aren't going to go sit out in rain or even with the threat of rain.
I just think that for the opportunity to see Paul Skenes' debut, you go. But anyway, it was a good crowd, and he's right. It's a beautiful stadium, great skyline, and all that stuff. So many more opportunities to see Skenes pitch. Okay, it's after further review. Let me break. Let me stay on time. We'll break. We'll do auto locks. If I have time to get to this spring football story, I'll do it in this final segment. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Mother's Day in the rearview mirror. If you didn't get mom what she wants, make it up to her. Bring her to Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. I was actually emailing earlier today with Miss Teresa. They are still getting fresh shipments of plants almost daily. And they got a great selection of flowering plants that'll brighten up your landscape, pots around the patio and the pool. I told you we did this last Saturday, went to Clegg's, bought a whole mess of flowers, and we filled up all the patio pots in the outdoor kitchen, by the pool. I mean, it really is incredible how much color and flavor and style and beauty it adds to all of your outdoor spaces. If you don't have patio pots, awesome. They sell them there at Clegg's as well. If you don't have the potting soil for the pot, they sell it there as well, bag or bulk. It's Clegg's Nursery. They got everything. If you need all your gardening tools, they got all of it there as well. They think of everything. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Just at dinner right now, the Del Mar organizational meeting. So this crew's not real interested in what I got to say. So they don't even know I'm on the radio right now. So
well,
anyway.
Otter, considering you're at the Del Mar organizational meeting, if we have Del Mar vibes in these picks, I'm not super confident how this is going to go tonight.
Well, no, I do. I got 1-1 super steam. Man, I was going to be on the Cavaliers, but I'm sure you've heard now that Donovan Mitchell's been ruled out already. I mean, it's just kind of a big deal. I mean, he's any key transit, any key possession, he's taking the ball and kind of, I'm kind of looking for the Celtics exhale right now, but there's no way I could take the Cavaliers without Donovan Mitchell. I did have Boston last game. I was looking for a little zigzag here tonight. Same thing with the late game tonight. I had the Mavericks, but man, that was a hard-fought victory on Saturday against Oklahoma City. I think it's Oklahoma City's night tonight to get back even. And, some of the role players that really stepped up for Dallas, not so sure if they could be depended on in this one. Some veterans. Luka is playing on kind of one leg, but he's getting it done. Love Hubie Brown saying, well, he's quick as a cat when he wants to be. when he stole the jump on a key possession late. So I'm all over Oklahoma City plus any points tonight, 1.5, maybe 2.
Yeah, looking at 2 at DraftKings right now.
Yeah, that's a favorable number. Yeah.
Okay. Got anything in MLB?
No, I'm going to take the night off in MLB tonight. So
So, just to be clear, are we playing the Celtics-Cavs game, or are we just rolling with the Thunder tonight?
No.
Okay.
I was all ready to take the Cavaliers plus the point tonight at 8.5 with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it's up to 11.5 now.
It's completely. I've seen it go up to 12.5 where it's settled down before, but no, I can't do it. I mean, in the playoffs, he has the ball in his hands half of the possession. He's shooting a lot, and look, Garland played great in Game 2 where they won that one, but nah, I can't do it without him tonight.
All right, Otter, Tuesday tomorrow, where are you?
Mike Anderson's, baby.
All right, man, very good. Get on by, see Otter and Handy tomorrow. We appreciate it, Otter. Good luck with Delmar and all the ponies.
Okay, bye.
All right, we'll see you. That's Jimmy Ott. Catch Ott and Handy weekdays 11 to 1 for Live at Lunch. The jokes, for those that don't know, is a couple of years ago, Jimmy every summer goes to Delmar, takes a month off of work, and just goes and lives his best life watching horse races and drinking every day. And he was on a certified heater in MLB. I mean, I think he was winning at like a 75% clip. It was incredible. He goes to Delmar, and then it was like he couldn't spell baseball, let alone pick a winner anywhere. So we've had the joke here the last couple of years about the Delmar curse or whatever it may be. Whenever Otter goes to Delmar, he's done for the year. Just forget about ever betting with him for the rest of the year until football gets here. So that's what he was alluding to at the Delmar planning meeting. All right, it's after further review. I will have time to get to the spring story. We'll do what we learned as well, guys. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with more than 30 offices across 11 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Weigh or measure something to sell, service, rent the products used to weigh and measure. Billy Terrio was here on Friday. One of the companies that he and Richard owned at T3 Industrial, they have, my goodness, aggregates and rocks and all different types of stuff. Well, they have to weigh. I mean, they have these large lay-down yards with all their aggregates. Well, you got to weigh them, right, before you sell them and ship them and everything like that. So they needed scales. Talk to Michelli. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You weigh or measure something. They'll sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Of course, they can calibrate all of your precision measurement devices. You know where to go. The business that's been a Louisiana-owned and operated business for 76 years. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Just real quick, there's a piece up at ESPN.com right now talking about the future of spring football. And remember, during COVID, they went to more of like an NFL OTA style. And a lot of coaches really liked that in the late spring and summer and wondered if that's something they may move to. One Big 12 coach anonymously said, quote, I don't necessarily think you'll have 15 practices in 34 days. You'll have mini camps like OTAs. And I think that's a good idea. I don't have any problem with that. Our deal is going to look more and more like the NFL. Neil Brown from West Virginia spoke on the record, and he had a long quote about it. But, I mean, he was overt with his desire to see this happen. Said, I'm open, I think a lot of coaches are, to more of an NFL model where you have OTAs, you have mini camps, and it's more open window that you can do more football February through July. So, effectively, if you remember during COVID, what they did was they had some on-field work, some classroom work, but they split it up throughout those months. Remember, it was hard to do workouts, but sometimes, what is it? Necessity is the birth of innovation, or whatever that quote is. And they had to find a different way during COVID. They might have stumbled upon, it's kind of like everybody was Zoom now. I mean, everybody went to Zoom meetings because of COVID, and we found a better way to work and work remotely and connectivity. And maybe college football has found the same thing. And quite honestly, I think there's far more value in being able to be in connection with your team for on-field walkthroughs or classroom work for a longer period of time than just those 15 practices over the course of 4 weeks, during the spring. So in any event, we'll see if they ultimately do it, but it looks like that's something they could very well be moving toward. And there's a lot of coaches willing to speak both on the record and off about their desire to see that happen. Ultimately, that would be a vote that would have to be pushed through with the competition committee or the NCAA oversight committee, made up of coaches and athletic directors and administrators to ultimately allow it to happen. But so much change going on in college football right now anyway, with the transfer portal and NIL, as the college game continues to mirror more and more the NFL game. And it's probably something where it would serve the college game to graduate toward actually having a an offseason that more closely resembled the NFL model as well. Okay, that's just about going to do it for us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Muse, what did you learn today?
New Saint, Lucas Patrick, total football guy.
If you missed that, what was it, the second segment of the show today? Normally you're not going to be super fired up about a journeyman free agent offensive lineman, but go listen to that guy. Listen to Matt. Kudos to Muse. He went and dug up the audio of Matt LaFleur talking about Lucas Patrick 3 years ago, calling the glue of the whole offensive line, the glue of the room. It's freaking awesome, man. Fired up for it. Paulie, what'd you learn today?
I learned that we have action on season 2 of the Mets.
That a babe. Muse getting himself a wife. That's what's happening. I hope she's not listening. I hope she's not listening.
All right. What did you learn today, Matt?
Vegas still not a believer in the Saints. New win totals from Circa. Saints over under 7.5 for New Orleans. By the way, LSU win totals at 9 at Circa. See you tomorrow. AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Pure Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Or message me and say, Scone, what's the mold thing that you talk about all the time? Listen, this is a great sanitization product. Hospitals, schools, other public buildings, they can come in, spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It's easy. Kill dozens of harmful pathogens. But yes, also mold. If you have or think you might have mold, I mean, there's a chance you could have black mold in your wall. You don't know about it. Good way to get rid of it, affordably, effectively, boom, Pure Restoration. Patented, non-toxic, dry fog. The difference between a dry fog and a wet fog is pretty obvious. It's in the name. But the benefit is you don't have to remove furniture or plants or anything like that. Come in, spray, let the fog dissipate. You're done. It's Pure Restoration. Online, pure-restoration.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from